Becoming a street performer in Greater Taipei used to be incredibly difficult until recently. Aspiring performers were once scrutinized by a panel of judges as part of a government exam, which had pass rates as low as 10%. That all changed in March last year when New Taipei and Keelung decided to do away with the rigorous exams. Nowadays, anyone can become a street performer. Tonight in our Sunday Special Report, we take a look at what the new system means for street performance culture.
On weekends and holidays, fascinating street performances take over this pedestrian area in Taipei. Some of the artists show off their skills to the public. Others croon to the sound of a guitar, creating a quaint atmosphere for passersby. Whether it's through flashy stage shows or quiet portrait drawings, these street artists put their all into their craft. Every second counts, because securing a place to perform is no easy feat.
Street performers have always been divided into three categories. The first is performance arts, such as music and singing. The second is visual arts, such as drawing or creative work. The third is arts and crafts.
Previously, becoming a street performer was an arduous process. In 2005, the government instated a policy to screen all performers. The first step of the approval process was a government exam in which a panel of judges would assess applications based on 4 parameters: artistry, program design and cohesion, interactivity, and suitability for street performance. Applicants would be granted a permit only if they cleared the exam.
录取的几率比律师执照还要难考。我们那时候是8位评审。
The pass rate was even lower than the bar exam for lawyers. Back then, there would be 8 judges. They would decide whether the performer could obtain a permit. If more than one of them gave approval, you'd be okay. You had to put together a 2-minute performance.
Over New Taipei, the highest pass rate recorded was just 30%. In Taipei, it was even harder to get a permit, with just 10% of applicants passing in some years. Though it was difficult to obtain a permit, that didn't stop many stars in the making from putting themselves out there to kickstart their dream career. Public attention and cheers can bring show people closer to fame. But what's more important is making a good income, which is possible by securing busy venues at popular times.
平日的晚上去表演，大概3个小时，一个礼拜只休息1天。
On weekdays, I perform about 3 hours in the evening. I only take 1 day off a week. On weekends, I work from 2 to 10, 8 hours. That's with no rest, no food, no water, and no sitting, because I want to make money. I feel that resting will cost me some income. In an average month, I can make 40,000 to 50,000 NT.
Around the world, performers of all kinds liven up the streets of cities with exciting shows. To create greater diversity in street entertainment, some local governments decided to remove the restrictions of their performer screening process. In March 2021, New Taipei and Keelung adopted a basic registration system, removing the requirement that performers must pass a technical assessment. Now, all performers have to do is register online for a permit and sign up to book a performance space for a fee of 200 NT. Once that's done, the show is on.
像欧美地区，其实在街头艺人表演艺术，他们都是开放自由的。
In Europe and the Americas, there is a lot of freedom for street artists and street performers. After many discussions, we decided that everyone should have the freedom to perform and put their work out there, and that they shouldn't be subject to restrictions.
With the easing of regulations, the number of applicants has skyrocketed. According to government data, in 2019, 1,648 applications were filed to the Taipei city government. In 2021, after the new system began, almost 3,000 applications were submitted. Over in New Taipei, the number of applications in 2021 tripled from 2019. But the removal of the exams means that the hard-won permits of the past suddenly became worthless.
当然，站在比较现实面的角度，会觉得，既然开放了，那就是很多人都可以来当街头艺人。
Of course, from a realistic perspective, they feel that opening up these gates allows a lot of people to become street artists. But for performers who rely on the art to make a living, it makes things harder. After all, in Taipei, there are only so many performance spaces. If everyone signed up, there wouldn't be enough space to perform, and that would definitely cause everyone's earnings to plummet. Plummet is one way to describe it. So some people have begun looking for other jobs. They're making street performance a side gig or just a part-time job.
Though cities have opened up new performance spots, they have not been enough to meet demand. Taipei and New Taipei have only added 4 and 16 performance areas respectively. The space shortage has turned online venue booking into a fierce battle.
This is how it works in Ximending. Registration opens on the 1st and the 15th of each month. There are 2 areas open. One is inside the commercial district at a square outside the drugstore. The other is outside the shopping area, outside exit 6 of the MRT station. The spot inside the commercial area is more sought after than the one outside. I didn't manage to book any for this month.
Another concern over the new system is that now there's simply less quality control. The fear is that those who live off their art now stand to lose opportunities to less polished performers.
Not all performances are on the same level. That's very normal, because people who have only just started performing obviously won't be as good as people with 10 years of experience. But I think that people being more willing to perform on the streets is a good thing, be it just for fun or because it's something you've wanted to do since you were young. I think that being willing to give street performance a go is not a bad thing at all.
Tang Jingyuan is just 17 years old. He started his street performance career after the registration regulations were eased. He's a champion Diablo juggler who throws the axle around to the latest pop hits. His number attracts the attention of passersby who stop to marvel at his skill.
Standing by myself on this stage really wasn't easy. My first performance was here at the bottle cap factory. I was many times more nervous then than I was at the national finals because I felt maybe the audience wouldn't understand the skill. Maybe understand isn't the right word. It's like some moves that I do that I find simpler, you might see as being harder, or the moves that I think are complex, you might find basic. So that's something that you always have to consider. How are you going to attract an audience, and how to create moments?
Interacting with the spectators in this animated performance is yo-yo master Yang Yuanqing, who's put on street shows for more than 15 years now. He holds a Guinness World Record for most napkins snatched from a table with a yo-yo. As a veteran of street performance, he says the new permit issuing system can promote street arts and culture.
虽然大家都出来了，可是我觉得观众的眼睛是雪亮的。
There are more street artists coming out now, but I think the people who watch us do have a discerning eye. They can tell whether something is good or whether you need to go home and keep practicing. As the audience, we decide with our tips whether to allow this person to continue performing.
来自台南，我是一名街头艺人，谢谢大家，谢谢。
The true key to survival in the street performance world is the applause and tips from the public. Shows that entertain and move the public make the city a captivating place to be.
主要是看他刚刚的这个表演。
When I watch a performance, it depends on whether I truly resonate with the show or whether it stirs me emotionally.
让我留下一段时间，然后看的是真心，就是
I stayed to watch for a while, and I ended up getting truly immersed. When it ends, I'll go give a tip.
我其实是支持的，因为我觉得可以让更多。
I support the policy change because I think it will let more people show off their talent on the street. The general public will be the ones to decide whether or not their performer is a good street artist.
Whether a street artist succeeds depends entirely on the passersby who watch the show. As such, performers have to make the most of every chance they have to show off their skills or risk losing their spot to countless other talented people eager to step into the limelight.